Hello, everyone. I am here at Stamina Wellness headquarters. My name is Nabil Agajanian, and I am the social media manager. Today, if you're familiar with us and you've seen some of our past live videos, you'll know that we do a Q&A every week with Kevin Smith. He's our team certified nutritionist, which I'm going to have him join us here shortly. Let me send him a request. Hi everyone, thank you for joining. So today we're going to be talking about, I want to ask Kevin about gut health. Let me get him on here so we can get started. Hi Kevin, I saw that you just joined. Let me send you the request. Let's see, he's joining here. Hi Kevin, how are you?
Hey,
How's it going?
yeah, good. I'm just hanging out in my my yard today.
It looks very nice.
Yeah, it's kind of cool and yeah, it's nice here in California today.
Yes, it is. The weather is not too hot and not too cold. It's
Yeah,
perfect.
it is like perfect 70-degree weather. We love it.
Yes, I was actually outside earlier and I thought of the Stamina 7 because I was like, look at me getting some sunlight. But it was nice because it wasn't the harsh, direct sunlight. It's like the gloomy sunlight. Hello,
Yeah.
thank you for joining. Okay, so let's jump right in. We talk a lot about health, immunity, and lately I feel like I've been seeing a lot about gut health and that it's tied to immune health. And so I just wanted to see if you could elaborate a little bit on that. Is that true? How much does it matter what we're putting into our gut? Does it really determine our health, our good health? And yeah, I'll wait to see if anyone else has questions. I have a lot of questions about it, but if you can maybe just start with what you know about it and what you want to share about it.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of science on this now. I mean, I'm you know, one of my favorite slogans is "You are what you eat," and obviously the first place that anything you're eating goes is into your gut. But there are estimates now that up to 70% of your immune cell function is in the gut. So we certainly know that homeostasis in the immune system is very much dependent on gut health. So homeostasis is an equilibrium in that system. It's keeping it level and working well. And the gut tends to get very beaten up, especially with the way we eat and live in our modern day. What we're really talking about is the microbiome, which is all of the organisms that live within and on our body. And a lot of those organisms, bacteria specifically, are actually doing a lot of good for our health. They're helping us actually convert nutrients into fuel, into oils, into, basically the food that keeps our body and immune system working. So, we are using a lot of antiseptics, antibiotics, chemicals in our environment, on our food. All these things kill bacteria. And they, even the bacteria that we're trying to kill off occasionally with an antibiotic, we're killing all of the bacteria off. They don't, select out one bacteria and handle it. They kill the whole system off. So, there's a lot you can do with gut health, and there's a lot you can do to maintain it and help boost your immune system through it, for sure.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for sharing that. Just a reminder to everyone, this is a Q&A, so if you have any questions for Kevin regarding gut health, our topic today, or really if you have questions about anything related to wellness and health, now is the time. But we do want to talk about gut health today and immunity. So let's see, it looks like someone asked, what are the top three things I can do to improve my gut? That's a good question. I'm curious too.
Okay, top three. So definitely
Just three things, if you can.
Yeah, I mean, definitely lots of fiber. So high fiber foods, especially fresh vegetables. So, things like avocado, artichokes, asparagus, they're all great sources. And then nuts and seeds are really good too. The reason I say fiber is basically the food for many of the good bacteria in our digestive system. So that's something that we should all focus on daily, is getting lots of that really good multicolored fiber. Fermented foods are fabulous. So that's things like sauerkraut, kimchi, a good kefir. I like to do coconut yogurt, miso soup, fermented tofu.
Quick question. Is all yogurt fermented, or like I have Greek yogurt, but sometimes my kids will have regular yogurt. Is it?
Yeah, I mean, it's all fermented. I just tend to personally, I avoid dairy. I just don't do well with it. So I go with coconut. But yeah, it's all basically what they do is they add a culture to it, which is microorganisms, and it turns it into a yogurt. So that's great. And then, I guess I should really speak to kind of avoiding. Here's the things you want to avoid: the things like processed food, sugars, processed oils in particular are pretty bad. Things like canola oil, any kind of high pressure oil. So,
What about?
I didn't hear you there. What did you say, Mabel?
Is that avocado oil? I cook with avocado oil, but ever since you were talking about oil,
Avocado oil is fine. I mean, okay. I actually tend to I'll either use coconut, olive oil. I use avocado oil occasionally. I also use clarified butter, which is probably that and a grass-fed butter are the only dairy that we eat. Clarified butter is basically they separate the oil and the solid from the butter, and that's the oil. It's used a lot in Indian food, for example, and across Asia. So and then things like alcohol, drugs, medications, cigarettes, all those things tend to kill off good bacteria in your system. So those are I could give you 100, but those are probably the top 3.
So just to sum it up, top 3 would be fermented foods like kimchi, yogurt.
Yeah, you're basically with those putting good bacteria back in your system. So okay. That's why they're good. Fiber is food for the bacteria that help promote immune health. So obviously you want to feed that bacteria and keep it, prosperous and keeping you functioning well. And then avoidance of the things that kill bacteria off, which is essentially, pretty much any kind of chemicals. Alcohol kills off bacteria. I'm not saying don't drink alcohol. I'm just saying that is an effect that it has, is it will kill off gut bacteria. Drugs like, strong antibiotics. So those are going to wipe out all of your bacteria in your gut. And there's things you can do if you have to take an antibiotic, for example. I mean, we have programs that we run in the clinic where we rebuild the gut. In that case, I would recommend a good probiotic after, but I don't necessarily think that everybody needs probiotics. That's more of a case by case.
Okay, so then, because I used to take probiotics every day, is it something that you should first speak to your physician about, or like people who take probiotics every day, is that something they should be doing, or you just?
It'd be very rare that it would actually cause you any harm.
Okay.
Like I've had people that are taking probiotics that have had reactions to it, but that usually is because there's something else wrong. Okay. But the other thing as well is it's, getting a high quality probiotic is, that's the other key. There's a lot of probiotics out there, but how good are they? And, are you getting any benefit from spending that money on that product, or could you get more benefit from, say, spending it on more organic food, or, you know, using it to do other stuff within your health regime.
Right. Okay. Great. And just as you were speaking about alcohol and fermented foods, I got to thinking, because the weekend's almost here, and sometimes I like to have a glass of wine or a margarita. What is your advice, or what, you know, on alcohol? Is it okay in moderation? Is there a, like, wine is fermented? Yes. Is that better too?
I mean, I think that there's, you know, a good organic wine, a red wine maybe is probably a good option. There are some benefits to a good tequila in moderation.
Oh, okay.
You know, there's some study on that, basically, one, helping digestion, and actually traditionally that's what tequila was used for, is people would drink a little bit of tequila after they ate dinner. So that kind of, it does help the digestive tract. Here's the thing with alcohol. You know, you're basically putting a toxic substance in your body, and then your body reacts to it. So it's kind of, you know, your body can tolerate a lot. So I'm all about, you know, being moderate, and if you're going to drink a little bit, I don't, you know, it's not going to destroy you.
Right.
I coach people daily on this kind of stuff, is do stuff that, you know, is going to benefit your health as well, and then you're going to offset, you know, that impact that the alcohol could have. So, you know, exercise more,
Right.
make sure you drink plenty of water so that you're handling the dehydration that it can cause.
Take your ImmunaBoost.
Exactly. You know, take your ImmunaBoost, you know, boost your immune system. You know, so I don't like taking things away from people. It doesn't tend to work. So it's just, you know, I don't drink very often. I used to when I was younger, and now I'm, you know, personally, I experience anything that I put in my body very, very rapidly and clearly, and it you know, I feel the toxicity, and I don't like that effect. But most people, I'm just bouncing my camera around. Most people, you know, I don't feel like that's the case.
Right.
I do know that the healthier and cleaner your body gets, usually the higher impact it is when you're going to do, you know, anything. If I went and ate a cheeseburger right now, I know I would have a reaction to it. So, you know, I mean, it's just, everything's in moderation. You know, if you like having the Italians seem to do really well with their wine, the French.
Right.
You know, these guys live for a very long time,
Right.
and they tend to, you know, have very good brain health. And my belief is that is their diet that allows them to be able to do that. So they eat really well, and they create an environment where their body can tolerate more. So, you know, eat good, eat fresh foods, boost your immune system in every way you can. ImmunaBoost is a great way to go. I mean, obviously we formulated that to specifically give you nutrients, vitamins, herbs that do all of that. You know, ImmunaBoost will also there's stuff in there that helps cleanse the liver, for example. So, you know, that's another thing to think about is, and I tend to handle this a lot in the nutritional clinic, is keeping your liver really healthy. That is on a par with gut health. I mean, those two things are probably the two most important things when I'm, you know, if I'm dealing with an organ, those are the ones that we put a lot of attention on.
Oh, okay. So then, now that we're talking about the liver, I'm just curious, is there a way to tell if your liver is not doing so well, if you should be focusing more on liver health? Are there signs to look for?
Yeah, I mean, definitely, you know, if the liver's not doing well, well, first of all, you can experience pain in that area of your body. And, you know, your liver is on the right side, you know, kind of close to your, you know, it's in between your stomach and your back. So it's on the side of your right side. So, you know, you'll often feel pain there if there's a problem. But it tends to affect skin color. You know, your eyes may get red, yellow.
I got to do it. I'm nervous.
Your eyes look great. They're nice and white. So yeah, you're fine. I'm not worried about you. But as far as, you know, liver health, it's just, again, kind of making sure you're eating the right foods. There's a lot of really good foods for cleansing the liver. Celery is great, grapefruit, cruciferous vegetables, which are things like broccoli, Brussels sprouts, kale, cauliflower. Walnuts are excellent. So there's a ton of info at staminawellness.com on this kind of, you know, these kind of foods that are going to benefit your health. And those foods cross over into other areas in the body. They're not just, you know, for liver health. I mean, walnuts they've got so many great nutrients. They're so good for the brain, for example. So, you know, I tend to do that daily. I eat, you know, a handful of walnuts a day. I tend to eat a lot of cruciferous vegetables because there's 16 cruciferous vegetables and I like every single one of them. But, you know, your liver is cleansing the body.
Kevin, can you just list a few of those vegetables, the cruciferous ones, because I'm not that familiar with it. Maybe some of our audience isn't either.
Yeah, I mean, so Brussels sprouts are probably my favorite.
Okay.
Kale, which you've got all kinds of different kales. Bok choy is another one. Broccoli, cauliflower. So, you know, those are probably the most readily available ones in the grocery store. You know, one of the ways that we cleanse the liver when we're handling it with supplements is I use a supplement that is basically the phytonutrients, the basic cleansing nutrient that is contained in Brussels sprouts and kale. And we give our, you know, patients high doses and it tends to just clean the liver out. So, you know, things that impact the liver are not just, you know, it's not just alcohol. Any medication is going to have a negative effect on the liver. So if you are on any type of medication on a daily basis, that will impact your liver as it will your gut health. So if you are taking a medication, then those two areas need even more focus.
Right.
You know, so that's something to really think about. And then depending on where you live can really affect you and what you do for a job. You know, a lot of people don't realize that, you know, if you're breathing in heavy loads of chemicals, that's going to end up in your liver and your liver's got to deal with it. So yeah, your lungs and your respiratory system has to deal with it too, but your liver is being impacted. So that's like, you know, this is something I deal with in Los Angeles quite a lot because, you know, there's times a year where the air is just horrendous here.
Right.
You know, wearing face masks all the time in our current climate, that is having a really negative impact on the immune system and the liver because you're recycling toxins back into your body. You're breathing in a lot more carbon dioxide and carbon monoxide. So these things are, you know, they're not gonna, you can handle it, but you have to take additional steps. And that's something that.
Is ImmunaBoost one of those steps? Are there ingredients in it that are beneficial for your liver?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you know, the vitamins in there are, zinc is a really important vitamin for liver health. You know, green tea has benefit across, I mean, liver, kidneys, the brain, the gut. So there's plenty of stuff in there that's going to help. And then obviously when you boost your immune system, boosting the rest of your systems. So that's kind of important too, is to give your body a boost. I lost you for a second. You froze for me.
Yes, I see you now. Sorry, you were saying, I mean, basically you were saying if you're boost your immune system, you're boosting your whole health.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. That's,
Right?
that's definitely something to think about is the immune system holds a lot of weight in your general health. So if you're boosting your immune system, then your other systems in the body are going to be able to operate a little, they'll be more effective in cleansing, in giving you energy, in, helping you sleep better. So it's definitely, we formulated ImmunaBoost to handle a lot of areas of the body as well as the immune system. But the reality is, if you've got a really good, strong immune system, then the rest of your body is going to be able to tolerate more.
Right. I think of it as like a dynamic. When one thing shifts, it changes the whole dynamic. Um, so that's always how I think of balancing immunity. You know, my immune health, it's got to have an effect on my overall health. So that's awesome. Um,
Yeah, definitely.
we are reaching we're kind of at the to the end here, but we have another question about frozen veggies. Are there still adequate nutrients present in them? And this is actually, I'm always on the run, and so cooking with fresh vegetables isn't always an option. So I like frozen veggies. I have this idea that it's not good for you. They're not good for you. Is that true? Or
I mean, I don't think that they're bad for you. So I will say that first of all. You know, as far as nutrient value, you've got kind of a sliding scale that fresh vegetables are by far the best. Then, frozen vegetables are probably going to be next in line. Actually, honestly, a freeze-dried vegetable is better than a frozen vegetable. And then canned vegetables, quite frankly, I believe they're a waste of time. But, here's the thing, like frozen vegetables, they're going to have a lower nutrient density, but they're still going to have like plenty of fiber. They just might not have the level of the phytonutrients, the chemicals that your body uses. But definitely, there's going to be good fiber in a frozen artichoke.
right.
So I wouldn't like, again, it's kind of, you've got to balance your life. And one of the ways we do that is by, if you're eating some frozen veggies because you needed time to go exercise, I mean, I'm not going to argue with that. That's kind of a great way to go. If you're
Right.
eating frozen veggies because you just sucked down 5 margaritas at the bar, I mean,
Hey,
it's kind of like, no, sorry. But, so it's kind of like, don't be hard on yourself if that's, like, I ate frozen corn this week. It was like an organic corn, and we basically just baked it. So it's not like I don't eat. I mean, I grow a lot of vegetables. Maybe at some point we'll do like a little tour of the stuff that we do in my home here in California. And we buy 95+% fresh. It takes a little bit more work, but honestly, cooking a fresh vegetable as opposed to cooking a frozen vegetable doesn't actually take any difference in time. Vegetables are, I mean,
yeah,
honestly, they're pretty easy. One of the things we're going to start doing at Stamina Wellness is creating an area on our learning center where we're going to have recipes, and I'm going to start putting together foods and things you can do that won't take time. Like you can do like a really good 1-pan roast veggie pan where you can take 3 or 4 different veggies and just toss them in some oil and salt and pepper and roast them for 20 minutes, and you're going to be good to go. So there's going to be a lot more stuff like that we're going to work on. As well as a nutritionist, I started out 25 years ago in culinary school, and worked in the food industry a lot. So, I have a real passion in trying to get people healthy with whole foods. And then, you know, we use supplements to give us an extra boost. This time of year, you really want to boost your immune system. I mean, this is, and especially with what we've been going through this year with Corona, and, you know, things like being in our homes more, wearing face masks, washing our hands so much. We've actually, quite frankly, probably reduced our immune function a little bit because we're not getting exposed to the things that strengthen it. So that kind of stuff is what I use supplements for, to heal a body that's damaged and to give you a boost.
Right.
The rest of the time is all about getting the right food and plenty of it into your system. So gut health is obviously key. I mean, you know, if you put something in your body that is toxic, it's going to resonate through your whole body.
Right.
And, you know, the key really is to feed those microorganisms. Just keep putting good food in there, and you're going to give yourself a boost.
Love it. And on that note, I think we should maybe start wrapping up. But I just, you know, if you could give us, I'd like to end with some flu season tips. Obviously, take your ImmunaBoost. We talk about the benefits of that all the time. So, I mean, I know that I take it so that I can protect myself before I get the flu. But if I do get it, you know, it is a speedier recovery. And actually, I was just telling someone else on the team today that I was out earlier, and someone had told me that they took ImmunaBoost because they got sick, and that they were surprised to see how quickly they recovered. It was 3 days, and he said it was his wife. And he's like, my wife always is sick for at least 6 days. She's out, she can't go to work, we have kids, our parents have to come take care of them. And he's like, and this time she recovered in 3 days. We're both shocked. I'm like, well, that's what happens. Like, we're not, you know, we're
I mean, it was formulated based on, you know, clinical experience to that, you know, like that's what we have been doing for years, is giving people individual supplements that make up ImmunaBoost. And that's the whole, you know, like, I mean, I've mentioned it before, my wife and I, if we even get a hint of sickness, we immediately load up on those nutrients that are in ImmunaBoost.
right.
I really wanted to give people something they could take daily throughout, certainly through flu season, that will stop that happening. And that's, you know, but if you do get sick, I mean, yeah, take it straight away.
Right. Yeah. And I mean, I think that's also something I like to emphasize to my friends and family who I've given this to. If you're taking it beforehand, you're protecting yourself from really getting it. You catch it's you're already so far ahead of the game. So speedier recovery. And anyway, I swear by it. I know you do. But any other flu season tips?
Well, you know, definitely, you know, and I've talked about this in the past, but for those that are new on the channel right now, I mean, you know, one of the reasons that flu season is the way it is, and it's this time of year moving through the, you know, into the new year and early part of the next year, is that this is the time of year when people are going to parties more, drinking more alcohol, eating more sugar, eating more processed foods, you know, sleeping less. So you've got, you know, those are the things to think about. And that's what the Stamina 7 is all about, is giving you, you know, not only that information, but how to try and get those into your daily routines. I'm not telling anyone to not go to a holiday party. That would be ridiculous. But it's, you know, if you're going to go to a holiday party and drink a few drinks, then drink lots more water. Make sure you're taking your supplements. You know, try and get out and sweat the next day, and, you know, help your body detox. So there's, you know, this is the time of year when it's critical to do all the things your body really likes. And the body really likes sunlight and sleep and exercise and good food, you know. So that's all I would say from you know, the point of view of flu season. And then obviously, you know, as well as ImmunaBoost, there's, you know, you can get extra vitamin C in your body through foods. There's foods that are high in zinc. You know, the vitamin D is key too. So as much sunlight as you can get, and if you live in a place in the world where you can't get it, we don't have that problem.
Right.
But you know, not everyone lives in a place like California. Get, you know, an ImmunaBoost has plenty of vitamin D in it. That's you know, you're not going to need any more if you take ImmunaBoost.
And
So
I think that's the idea behind it. It's not substituting the food you're eating. You should still be aiming to get it through whole foods, but I know just I have a very busy work schedule. It's not possible for me to get all those nutrients in every single day. So that's why I supplement. I know that's why we push it, because I mean, it's a full-time job getting those nutrients and ingredients in every day. So it's filling in those gaps.
yeah, absolutely. Just, you know, handle any area you can handle and try and get as much of it in each day. The parties are fine. Just offset it with, you know, there's think about getting good sleep a couple of days a week if that's all you can get. Ounces.
Right.
You know, these are just, you know, go to our site. There's tons of tips at staminawellness.com on immunity, obviously. The Learning Center is progressively getting built out, and we're adding stuff, you know, every week, and we'll continue to do that. So there's lots of good advice. And then if there's anything there that, you know, you're not seeing or you have a question, reach out and ask us, and we'll get the info posted on the site, or we'll reach out specifically to you via email. We want to be a resource for people throughout the year, not just the flu season, and for any issue they're having with their health, we can help in a holistic way. So yeah, just, you know, communicate with us, and we'll help you as much as humanly possible.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Kevin, for joining us today. And on that note, I think we should wrap today up. It's almost 5 o'clock, happy hour. I'm going to have a nutritious dinner and balance it with maybe a small margarita for digestion. Thank
There
you.
you go. Make sure it's with fresh lime juice. Don't get any of that nasty processed sweet and sour stuff.
I won't. And I have a lemon tree at my house, so I think I'll use that.
Perfect.
Okay. Thank you, Kevin. Have a good one.
Thanks, Mabel. Thanks, everyone.
Bye. Thank you, everyone.